This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, folks. Time being 4:45, I'd like to call this meeting of April 11th, 2024 to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show that we have two selectmen not present, Selectman Jessamine and Selectman Scanlon. I have an apology to make, and I think the onus is on myself and the board, that elderly exemptions, we've asked about this probably since the last fall. I believe it was a misunderstanding and interpretation. Otherwise, we would have put it in the warrant article for this year for the increasing the exemptions. However, it's been recommended by our assessor to increase the married exemption, but we cannot do that until next town meeting in a warrant article. So if anybody out there is having difficulty or reached in that line that we talked about at the meeting in March with our assessor, then they need to come in and talk with Amy Despens, our administrative assistant, and we could try to resolve the issue. Town vehicle.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the building inspector's vehicle has failed its inspection. It's completely rusted underneath. So we have to look around for a vehicle for the building inspector to go out and do his inspections. Chief Gilman reached out to Rusty's and also someone at Benson Auto. Our finance director, Tim Pearson, made a good suggestion that I should check with Primex regarding rental vehicles. They got back to me this afternoon and said, yes, you have coverage for a rental vehicle, provided it's on town business. Property damage and liability would be exactly the same as covered for a town vehicle. So I think our finance director is going to make a call and see if we can get a short-term rental until we look for another vehicle for the building inspector. I'm not going to speak for Tim, but I think that's the course of action he wants to take.
Oh, go ahead, Tim. He's got his hand raised.
I can
Thank
say
you.
that I did check with Enterprise and a rental for him, and I did check with him on the vehicle type. So it'd be roughly $242 a week is what the rental would be.
Okay. $242 a week. And we do not at this time know how long we need it.
That's right.
Okay. But we're checking into that. Okay, let the record show that Selectman Jessamine is here. Welcome, Joe. We're just talking about the town vehicle. Didn't pass inspection, but we're insured under Primex for rental.
Yep,
So we're going to use that in the interim
we can get it fixed.
till we get it,
Or
Either-
whatever that looks
or-
like.
or whatever that looks like, right? $242 a week. Okay, next on our agenda is Town Administrator's Report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are one or two action items I'd like to bring to the board's attention. Firstly, the land use coordinator's job description was given to the board previously, and Selectman Dawson asked that it go to the chair of both the planning board and the ZBA. It did so, and Jane Alden came back and wanted the words added, works well with all contacts in a collaborative manner and environment. And Matt Gilman, the chairman of the ZBA, had nothing to add. I do have the original document here that I would like the board now to sign. Madam Chair, can we table that till the next meeting, and I'll answer Selectman Dawson's questions during the week?
Oh, it'd
Would
have to
that-
be at a selectmen's meeting.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. It did go to the board. They looked at them, but my answers came back via the, yes, it did. Yes. Can I move on, Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
The town administrator's report was given to the board on March the 7th for approval, and Selectman Ruggles and Selectman Dawson discussed the statement that read, serves as contact person for the town. It was agreed that this line would be eliminated, which we've done, and now this is ready for the board's signature. Is that okay with the board?
So, wait a minute. This line was eliminated
Yes.
by the board how long ago? March the 7th.
Yes.
Then why did we see this in the Laconia Daily Sun? All right.
The town administrator's report, no, wasn't in the,
Well, if the job description it says we would agree to eliminate serves as contact person for the town, somebody did not pay attention to that because it quoted
oh,
the town administrator as the spokesperson for the town. Okay. All right.
thank you. The dog waste stations, if you could just look over the corner there, we have two of them. I've asked Shane Dow brought one in for the board to review and assemble. I just need your approval on, one is going on each side of Main Street, and I don't know where you want them placed, but Shane Dow's recommendation was to have them attached to one of the poles so that during the winter months they can be removed and stored in the highway garage so they don't get rusty.
Attached to a telephone pole or another pole?
Another pole, a pole.
A pole with a sign on it.
Yeah.
One of the metal poles with the sign on it.
Yes, yeah. We have
some
poles,
that no
yes.
bicycle, no parking.
Yeah. Wherever you want them to be placed.
I was going to say, I think that they'll have a pretty good grasp on.
Down near the,
Okay.
Thank you. Commentary here, the town has been with Colonial Life since 2007. However, participation has been slow to grow to the point we had one employee whose coverage payments were made through payroll deduction. Now we're being encouraged to offer our employees supplemental benefits as shown in the brochures that I've included in your binders. We currently have, as an alternative, 7 employees enrolled in an AFLAC program. I'm just asking the board if they wish me to reach out to Colonial Life and ask them to come in and make a presentation.
Obviously, AFLAC has come in and done a presentation and they've chose to go with the AFLAC. So I don't understand why we would offer them, to come back in and offer them something alternative to AFLAC.
They offer additional supplementary benefits more than AFLAC. I can tell you that.
Right. That's what he's asking is.
Yeah.
Right. You're
I,
asking to the board, you're asking
yeah.
to the employees, not to the board, correct?
Correct. I'm
Okay.
asking, would the board allow a representative from Colonial Penn to come into one of our department head meetings and explain it to the,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
okay, thank you very much. Moving down, Selectman Dawson asked about this document, the Tilton hiring procedures for 2018, be reviewed among the board, and we'd like to table that until next week, if that's okay. Yes, it's in your packet behind my, yes, behind my, yeah, yeah.
No, but this, you have to sign this. Town administrator thing.
And the last action item, Madam Chair, was a Class 6 road subdivision. We had a request from the Land Use Office regarding 35 Range Road. Are the selectmen willing to entertain a subdivision on a Class 6 road?
No town that it's still closed. It's subject to gates and non-main,
Town road, right. So
but it can be subject.
how big a subdivision is it?
Is,
Sure, come on up.
Mr. Miner is here. Oh, good. Evening.
Not sure.
Well, they weren't
evening.
allowed to speak at the planning board.
You want to come
Because
round
there's
here
no
and
coordinator yet.
then you can
Okay, I get it.
you can use the microphone?
Here, right, the road,
Paul Brand.
the road
No, I
first,
get
Joe.
that. I get
Right.
that.
Nice to meet you.
But this year,
That's right. Right, so we would want to just get a,
I'm saying we shouldn't listen to
right.
that.
So a very condensed version, because we're just fitting this in. How far up on Range Road are you? Up footage wise?
So we are about 1,500 feet from Caliph Hill.
Okay,
There's a primary residence there right now. At the furthest point of the lot has 1,100 feet of frontage. And the house sits at the very back corner, just before that camp that was just constructed that you referred to.
okay.
I didn't even know there was a cemetery out there.
That's past house.
Past house.
Yeah.
Other. Yeah.
The other
yeah,
sharp
yeah,
corner.
yeah.
Yeah, yep. So now we're proposing to, look at putting in 3 lots before that current lot that's there.
So because it's not a maintained town road, because it's a class 6 road, the question lies, how much are you willing to maintain that road or bring it up to standards?
Yeah, so we're open to either option, either bringing it up to standards. We put a lot of gravel in the road as it sits now, just to upgrade it for personal travel right now.
Yes, the road agent at the time, who is no longer here,
Yeah.
what we could or couldn't do. And he's like, well, if you're gonna add some gravel, it's okay.
Yeah.
So we went with it, just to make the construction or the renovation of the existing home a little bit easier on the contract. So we're just trying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't even passable, honestly, to a 2-wheel drive vehicle.
right.
So
Somehow,
1,500 feet.
to the back of the lot is 1,500.
want me to help you out with that?
Share the wealth. I see.
Here, I've got another one right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Can you give me the lot number? Yeah, the part.
yeah, so it's Kyle Minery, and the lot is map R13, lot 6. By what?
Is it there?
I think it's just the road. I think it's road stuff.
I don't know.
No, if they want to, that's fine.
Know what. As long as they know that it's not the house.
And not town maintained road means that an ambulance doesn't go down there. So unless you
But
brought
they
it
might go
up to a
these houses
standard,
If the road was improved.
if you brought the road up to a standard, maybe not, but it's not guaranteed.
What is that standard that
So,
would make that happen?
right. There's
So,
a lot.
because, so I read through all that
Okay.
many times,
Mhm.
and everything refers to asphalt, which my understanding wouldn't be that would need to be paved necessarily in the subdivision.
I don't think it would ever make it. Right now, on one side, you can't utilize the whole width of the town road to make proper ditches, width of road, all of that. So we would never request that the town would take it over.
There's
There's
one
one.
camp
Yeah.
that was recently constructed.
Right. So
Would that be a possibility or no?
That's possible now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the road
yeah.
right now measures to be 18 feet wide with ditches on either side of the road,
Oh,
with culverts and everything.
my road is not even that wide.
and then actually it was in really good shape through
Mine's a
last
town
winter
road.
and this spring and everything.
Mm.
We haven't had a normal winter. I get that. But whoever put the gravel in there to start with, there is a base in there.
Mm.
Would it meet the town specs? I don't know. Probably not. So is there language that can be put in the deeds of the properties that they can't?
Yeah.
Adds to the allure. Makes it more rustic.
Right.
Live out in the sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really want to.
There are people that live on a class 6 in Tilton just fine.
Right.
On that road specifically.
Right. Yeah.
On that road specifically and on the other end over by Abbott's farm. So very comfortably.
Range goes to School Street.
not Range. I'm not talking about Range. Isn't Copsy's a class 6? Oh,
Cropsey would dispute it on the map.
okay. We won't go there. Let's keep moving. Thank you.
Visually, from seeing both ends, I think that end's more, the end they're on is more passable than the other end. So, and I live on School Street. Just in terms of going by and a number of times over the last few years, I think that first 1,500, 2,000 feet of their end of Range Road compared to the other one.
I've driven the bus up there once. Never again.
Road down near the swamp, it's
Right.
not so much.
You're
but
talking
It's not range.
past house?
All right. So
No.
And
we need to look at the book in the subdivision, and then the road book would be the not the zoning book, but the on the roads, what the roads are compiled of. Yeah, class 6, absolutely class 6.
Right, yeah.
I wouldn't want any other way.
Yeah.
so now it's not here, it's planning board.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that they just wanted us to. Right.
Right.
Yeah, why aren't you plowing this? Yeah.
Right.
Bring donuts.
So we would need that to go to the planning board?
Mm-hmm.
And
We'll
then,
get through the planning board.
then, is it a minor or a major subdivision? That's based on number of lots, correct? We
Yeah.
would be adding 3 to the existing.
So the way the subdivision regulation reads is anything greater than 3 lots
Is a major.
considered major.
Right.
So we're asking
Adding.
to create 3 lots. So I would, it's kind of how would you read it? It's now going to become 4 and it is 1. So is it 4
And you already
minus
have an
1?
existing house there.
Right.
But you're adding 3.
Right. Yep. In total, yes.
And so I guess our concern for knowing that was originally based on what would have to be done to Range Road to make.
Right. Your next step would be which would be an appointment. So second and fourth Tuesday, make an appointment at one of those meetings. So second and fourth Tuesday.
Yep.
Get on the agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we
but
didn't know that we could talk, so
Right.
we just went to kind of see how the
Right.
thing goes.
Right.
We tried submitting this 3 weeks ago, and we were told to wait for a meeting like this.
Yep.
And now we're told that we should have been at that meeting. So.
Right.
Well, you could have, isn't, asked them the questions, right?
Yeah.
That's what the conceptual is.
Yep.
And then
Right.
formal.
Do you think we should just submit the application, or should we go for a conceptual? Does it?
You're going to get more answers out of a conceptual, correct?
So if we're willing to take the chance on losing our $700, if you will, in the application, then just file the application and have the, right. And then who's the point of contact at this point to get on the agenda? If Janice is,
Janice.
Go tomorrow.
Okay.
If you go
but how do I know that it's actually gonna be, well, like, I'm not, saying anything against anyone, but I know how it goes on your last day of work. So if I talk to her and she says we're gonna be
Awesome.
on the agenda
Yeah,
and then we're not,
right.
so how do I just wanna know who to follow up with to confirm everything, that's all.
It would be, you're right. You'll have someone to contact. You can, right,
So we'll go see Janice tomorrow.
right. And then, right. And if you have any trouble, you can call us. Call one of us and we'll follow up with you.
If you go.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Perfect, so probably just do that and then stop in and see her and.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Perfect.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
Great.
Got a little bit more questions answered than you had before. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I feel better about it.
All right.
Yeah, they wanted us to review it with, planning wanted us to talk to you guys first. That's
Yeah.
why they wouldn't put us on the agenda, so.
All right.
It's a
Yeah.
class 6 road gig. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
because we'll present those to those.
All right.
Good.
So we'll see you at planning soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
We'll
guys.
be there.
So, thank you.
All right.
you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Hope we helped a little bit. All right. Okay, so we're all set with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then you're all set with your report?
I had a few FYIs.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you want to do those, Matt? Can
Yeah,
I do them? Thank you.
Yep, and then we're going to go right into selectmen's reports.
Right, thank you. So on March 25th, I attended my first meeting as a Tilton Commissioner. This month's meeting, a presentation was made by Sean Chamberlain, the LRPC Senior Transportation Planner. Sean updated attendees on the DOT's Bike Pedestrian Plan and the DOT's 10-year plan. Tilton's projects shown on the plan are for Caleb Hill Road and the intersection improvements at Main and School Streets. On March 27th, I met with the Northfield Town Administrator, Stephanie Giovannucci, as a follow-up to a discussion she had with our DPW regarding the sharing of a mechanic. She had already asked her town council, Upton and Hatfield, to draw up an intermunicipal agreement regarding this matter. Also, she had passed the suggestion through Primex. As soon as the intermunicipal agreement is prepared, we shall share this with our selectmen. March 28th, Shane Dow and I interviewed a candidate for the position of truck driver laborer for the DPW. This prospect currently holds a Class A CDL license, and we're hoping to bring this candidate before the select board. On April 1st, representatives from the PD and DPW met with Judy, Tilton and myself to discuss proposing sidewalks on Main Street after a pedestrian was hit by the Tilton House of Pizza. Judy has written to the state to see if there are any monies left over from the ARPA funds. While waiting for an answer, she is going to obtain some information and quotes for these signs so that we can bring them to the select board to discuss. We held a staff meeting on the 10th yesterday, which went extremely well. It was brief because a number of people were at training sessions. Your department head reports will be sent ahead of time or will be in your books for next week. Yes, yeah, that is correct. That is correct.
Right? Okay. All right, we're going to go right into selectmen's reports so we can make it brief and get moving. We have a very heavy night. Scott.
So just one thing, kind of question this week, because I observed a situation over the weekend Our trash cans that are on the side of Town Hall, those are not for public use, are they? Yes.
Well, there is an agreement that Pinard and now Casella had for certain businesses and homeowners in the vicinity to be able to share certain bins. So if you recall, that was maybe 2 years ago that all came about. So there is a neighbor that does utilize our bin, but they also bring the bins out, put them on the street, and take them back for us as well.
Got it. That probably.
Things are overflowing.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen them overflow.
Mm-hmm.
Close the lids.
That was because of the storm last week. They didn't get out the next day.
Joe, do you have anything for us?
The budget committee was last night, and I missed it. I've been in touch with Judy Tilton, and there was discussions about the Pines and the library, and letters were sent. However, I hadn't received the copies of the letters, so I can't discuss what was in them. It was a very short meeting, and that's it.
Planning board. Applications. Report.
Occupancy. Certificate of occupancy.
Selectman Dawson, I'm sorry, you need to hit the button so it's green. Or green in the PD.
Oh, we're green in the PD.
Green in the PD, red
Gotta be different
red at
here.
Town Hall, so.
Thank you. So anyway, they would like permission to speak to an attorney. And then hire a civil engineer to address the driveway.
What will that cost?
You're asking me to guesstimate. I have no idea. I would say the attorney, you're probably looking at, and the attorney should meet with the planning board, not just one representative, because there's a lot of questions pertaining to this property and a lot of confusion as to how to proceed. So you're talking $600-700 there, I would say, easy, maybe 8. Civil engineer. Got any guesses, Paul? I would say, you're looking at,
750 to 1,000, I would think.
oh yeah, I was going to say 3,000, 5,000. But the thought was is they'd speak to the attorney first. Where do we stand? Because there was mistakes made on both sides with the property owner and the town. And depending on what they advise us, go forward with a civil engineer. Currently, the driveway is in violation of the driveway application, and that water is flowing onto the road inside. Well, I don't think there's a sidewalk, the town road and the abutter property, more than it did before. was
Is there
looking
no
to,
way to settle this for less than $3,000 to $5,000? Seems
I
like a
think
lot of
because,
money here.
well, I think because of the mistakes that were made, on the town's part, driveway application was submitted that said repave. Um, I was at the meeting when the property owner himself said it was a reconstruction. The person that went out to inspect it was not authorized by the planning board to inspect it. It just, and then the planning board again didn't authorize, but other town employees went out to resolve the issue of the driveway. So a lot of mistakes were made on the town's part, but a lot of mistakes were made on the property owner's part. So it makes it complicated. It makes it hard to know which way to move legally.
The owner was asked.
Pardon?
The owner was asked. Help resolve it
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
Yes.
He wasn't willing.
Say again?
I said I'm a yes on the lawyer, and I would say, I think as you're insinuating, to be determined in terms of the civil engineer out of whatever the lawyer's
Oh, and
conversation.
that's reasonable. They could meet with the attorney and then report back in a non-meeting to let you know
Yeah.
what the attorney advised and go from there.
Joe?
I'm okay with the attorney. Find out what our responsibility is here and what the solution to this is so that everybody is good.
Okay.
But it'll also help the planning board to, in the future, know how to go forward better with driveways.
I officially recuse myself, so you got your answer?
I'm a yes.
There's
So.
your
All
yes.
right,
There's
thank
3
you.
yeses. Okay. All right, anything else?
Yes, the park commissioners met Monday night and Shane and Pete were there. And we had an excellent discussion about going forward with the Riverfront Park. And the feeling was mutual that I asked the Board of Selectmen to switch back the responsibility of the maintenance of the structures in the park to the park commissioners. Because for the most part, there's a lot of things that haven't been repaired in the past 5 years. And Public Works side of it is what we've always done in the past as park commissioners is say, we have these issues with these buildings. Are you able to take care of these? Do you have time? If they say yes, that's fine. If they say no, then we go forward and get estimates from outside sources and or use the resources of the New Hampshire State Prison. And it worked very well that way. In the past few years, since it was switched by the Board of Selectmen, it has not worked. Nothing was done, quite frankly. We're asking you to switch back so we can work harmoniously with Public Works.
Hey, I didn't know. I'm all about switching back, but I didn't realize that maintenance of the building was a selectman's issue. If it was, and things weren't getting done, I would have preferred to have known about that before right now. And maybe I'm just missing something.
Well, maybe I didn't explain it right. It was switched to the responsibility of the Public Works.
That's correct.
Yeah, so it wasn't the Selectmen's responsibility. But yeah, it wasn't. But for example, there's a trim, just like in this room, in the bathrooms. It's been hanging off the wall, I'm going to say at least 5 years. And I know that I've been, could you, would you? And when we spoke about it Tuesday night, Jane were both, what? They'd never heard about it. But they were absolutely, oh yeah, we'll get it in sometime between now and opening. Great. But that's what used to take place in the past, that kind of harmonious working together.
It can still happen now, can't it?
Right, if you could switch it back to the responsibilities of the park commissioners, will take that burden off of Public Works.
That's not going to cost us extra money, is it?
It's just a matter of, there's no budget exchange transfer or anything, right? It's just a matter of just delegating and if they're okay with it.
Right, it's basically we become
The-
those that go and check and look instead of being their responsibility. It's like I'm going to take care of
Right.
something with the swing set
Yep.
and the thing. And so instead of them having to do that,
You do it.
we do that.
Yep.
And then we go to them and say, hey, what do you think? Could you do this?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So to Parks Commissions, it's basically their stewardship in this case.
Yep.
That. So, yeah, I'm good with that.
We're all good.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
And the only other thing I have is the fall election dates for September and November. Has the school been made aware of those? And I'm thinking as far as scheduling sports now for the fall, perhaps
Yes, they have the election
Okay.
dates. Yes, yes.
they have. All right, good.
Yeah. Yep.
Good. And the only other thing I have, okay, can wait until next week or whenever we meet again.
Okay, in the interest of time, anything I have can wait till next week as well. Okay, time being 5:26, our public listening session is at 6. Yep. Let's do that. We have 3:21 minutes. Well, this was just the organizational one, right? Make a motion, we accept the minutes of 3:21.
Ruggles second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Any noes? I didn't hear any. We're all passed. 3:28. Everybody else set?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of March 28th.
Jessamine second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the minutes of 3:28. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? None. Okay. All right. Time being 5:30. Your folks are not here yet? No?
Mm.
Do you have one non-public that we can do? One. Okay. So this time I'd like to enter into non-public per RSA 91A:3, the hiring of any person as a public employee. So it's 2B. No, you don't have to get up. We're going to go into the police conference room, so you can stay right here. And we shall be out here. It's right at 5 minutes of 6. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Catherine seconded. Roll call vote.
Chessman, yes.
Ruggles, yes.
Constantino, yes.
Dawson, yes.
On public, they'll be back in 5-6.
Kind of a weird setup, so we had to have the meeting this way. Pass it here at one point, but that door, I'm gonna come right in this way right now. Okay, yeah, I know that. So, anyways, I'll be down there. They're 30. Yeah, man, this place was packed. I couldn't get enough chairs. Yeah, we had a line around here on the side. What was that for? What is it? Is it gas? Is that what it is? Gas? Yeah. Oh, the roundabout. Oh, the roundabout. Oh, yeah, you want to say that vicious word, I'll tell you, that's those are fighting. Somebody thinks that we have like these big accidents there. I gave, Scott. What is going on right now? You're going this way and that way. And
No, I just go to all the meetings.
Okay. Just covering Tilton?
Little in the echo. Round and about.
We don't get a lot of. Good. I'd like to have these things. Oh, really? Yep. Good.
Yeah, of
You're
course.
gonna have you sign in right there. You know the deal. Yep.
Sign my name. Yeah. Good, but Ryan told me to say hi to you.
Oh, good.
Hello.
Yeah, it's good. How's it doing?
Good.
Good, excellent. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bought one, geez, was it last year? That's a trip. That far, but I'm game for it.
Yeah, they finally put a cap on. Yeah, and they put a cap. But I was told. But Sean.
Fine, Steve, how are you?
Good.
Getting ready for golf?
Yes. Somewhere. This other part of the state, a lot of them are open for, they go
Yeah.
on their winter, their spring courses, so.
Yeah,
I imagine so they have.
I call, it was across from the market.
This helps?
We've had some conversation.
Yes, thank you. Article day?
Oh, yes, everybody's following me and says, you know this guy? It's just nice. Nobody's saying that. Now, that's the first thing I do. Where's she at? It's not on the front page.
They keep putting them back to you on the back page. The first time you get to the front page, but then you go, we're doing pretty good, you keep the front page. Yes, yes. I was watching it before he left. I know. Up the ground. A lot. It's like we feel better.
Chuck,
Did you see last weekend?
On the Valero.
What a finish that
Oh,
was.
wasn't that?
That was exciting.
How are you?
Yeah.
What do you got?
There's one that we have to make a motion on for the chair to sign.
I left it out.
Joe hasn't signed it.
There's where is the tax?
This one.
No. Where there was a whole sheet of things from Avatar.
For this one?
Nope, in the to be signed folder.
Sign the card. Thank you.
I've got them here. I've got them here.
What a week. Week. Thank you very much.
Time, yeah. We just gave $5.
They have to talk into it like this. Talk like this. No one's gonna hear.
To what? Well,
I get it. You don't have to explain it. I voted for it.
I know,
but
I
just
know.
can't believe it.
I know.
It's 12 years ago.
But we do this all the time.
Yeah, like
Every time I say to myself, I'm not doing this ever
recently,
again.
yeah.
I'm not doing this ever again.
The last few years, it's gotten to be that.
But my thought process leaving there is, our next meeting, I'm gonna ask for a chart of our employees, Public Works and Town Hall, that aren't under the union, and what are they making an hour? I mean,
I think they all make okay.
well,
I know Public Works do.
Sarah just said, I think, me too, I think, but we need to know.
Tom, how are you?
Hey, Tom, we need to know.
What are you, sir?
Yeah,
Because this has got to stop.
yeah, I just didn't like that whole thing. I almost abstained, but I don't want anybody to think that I don't support this person, because I do. I just haven't hard time.
Well, I am too. I want a list. So I can look at, it's like, I can't believe we did that we hired this, and she does a great job, but what she does, and we hired her for more money than,
We were paying
yeah,
a current
we should have
employee.
known that. I was just telling Joe, I want a list of all our employees and their wages.
They have 3 signatures. Do you want to see?
So I'll know where we're at.
Yeah, super.
What?
Yeah, technically we
Technically,
do.
we have to come back in. We haven't come back into public.
No, yes, we have to officially come back in. I mean, you're right, we haven't done that.
Hi, Tim, is this on? Hello? Can you hear me? Hi, everyone.
Where's my
We-
extended agreement?
Pat, we still have to come back into public session.
Oh, wow.
I'm just helping you,
Okay.
making sure.
Hold on, folks, 1 second.
You can do it from up there.
Yeah, you can do it there.
Make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public.
Second.
How's that? We're back in session? Okay, we'll I'm going to turn this over to Brian Colburn.
Those in favor?
Oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. We're welcoming Brian Colburn from McFarland Johnson to let us know about the reconstruction of Caliph Hill. We have 45 minutes, folks. We have an extremely tight agenda tonight, and we're asking you to keep your comments. Let's not repeat each other. You know, sometimes we can get in a big crowd and we start to repeat the comments. So we're going to hold you to a nice, tight 45 minutes. So I'm going to welcome Brian, and we can all learn about what's going on at the same time on Caliph Hill. Thanks, Brian.
Right, so Brian Colburn, I'm the project manager with McFarland Johnson. We're a civil engineering firm out of Concord, New Hampshire, that the town has hired to help figure out what needs to be done on Caliph Hill Road. Sierra Dahl is with McFarland Johnson as well. She's going to be running around with a mic and taking notes of your comments. We also have two people from New Hampshire DOT. We got Kevin Russell, who's in the Bureau of Community and Planning, serving as our project manager, and we have Nancy Spalding, who's the district engineer for this area. This is our agenda. I'll give you a little bit about the background of the project, go through so you understand the process that we're going to follow to get from where we are today to potentially some construction. The fourth bullet is where we'll spend most of our time, which is really us hearing from you about what the challenges are on Caliph Hill Road, things you want to see corrected and fixed. And then I'll just explain this anticipated schedule moving forward. So in 2021, the New Hampshire legislature appropriated a little over $3.2 million to reconstruct and reclassify Caliph Hill Road. Caliph Hill Road is about 2 miles. This portion we're talking about runs from Clark Road to March Road, so up to the Sanbornton town line. It's currently classified as Class 2, which means it's the state DOT jurisdiction and maintenance, with the town responsible for winter maintenance. And then this year in 2024, the town hired us to complete an engineering study to determine what it's going to take to build the road up to a standard at which the town would consider to take to the reclassification. Mainly looking at making sure it fits within the funding that's been appropriated. So the project development process, 4 major steps. So we're just getting started on the first step with the engineering study. After the study is completed, we go through preliminary and then final design before we get up to construction. So just getting started on the project. Item 1, you've probably seen or witnessed some of the things we've been doing. So a few weeks ago, we had a boring company out punching holes in the ground, looking for ledge, understanding what the condition of the existing pavement is, what's underlying, where those boulders are that keep popping up from the pavement from time to time. The surveyors also got started, I think, either last week or early this week. So they're going to determine where the existing right-of-way is and give us the information we need to do our analysis. We'll be doing resource identification, so looking for where the wetlands and streams are, understanding if we have any historic homes in the area, that sort of thing, and using that information and the information we're going to collect tonight to really come up with some alternatives and a recommendation on what to do on Caliph Hill Road, and getting a good cost estimate for consideration. There'll be a series of opportunities for the public to weigh in, so this is the first opportunity. We'll be back a couple more times, and I'll go over that at the end in the schedule. We complete this phase with an engineering report that will be submitted to the town and then used as a basis to coordinate with DOT on how to move this project forward. This just kind of shows this process more in a flow chart. So again, we're in that upper left engineering study phase. If at the completion of the engineering study phase, the project's too expensive or for some reason the town doesn't want to proceed, then the roadway will remain Class 2 and state owned. If the engineering study is completed and we decide to move forward with the construction project, we'll go through that preliminary and final design project, and then by the end of construction, the road will get reclassified to Class 5, which would be town-owned and maintained at that point. That's pretty much the process. This is where I'm looking for comments and feedback. I was here for the Gassett hearing and took some notes of the concerns that were noted there. We've been out and taken some pictures starting all the way back in 2018 and 2021, and even recently in 2024. I live in Franklin, so I drive the road from time to time. So I'm pretty familiar, but I want to make sure we know all of the issues that are out here. So I've got a few slides with some prompts, and then there'll just be some an opportunity for general comment. Yep. Do you have a question? So my understanding would be the town of the select board, and then potentially I think town meeting votes would need to be taken to move the project forward. Yep. So the first is drainage. We know this is an issue. The picture on the left was taken in the winter of 2018. Heard a lot about, especially on the southern section where the water flows in the roadway, and in wintertime, that snow melt doesn't have a chance to get off the road, so you get a lot of ice. Picture on the right was actually from a March rainstorm this year. And again, showing there's not a lot of ditches along Califf Hill Road, so that water gets out of what is minimal there for the ditch line, and you can see anytime it gets up on the pavement, it's causing damage. So I guess, are there any particular drainage issues you'd like us to know about as we move forward? Yes, sir. We're going to be just speaking to the mic, so I think there are people online.
My name is Tom Damon. I live at 401 Califf. Right in the middle of my front lawn's a culvert. It drains 1,000 feet of roadway onto my front lawn. And in the spring mud season, I have water in my cellar. At this culvert, the head wall is already collapsed. The state refuses to do anything. I want you to be aware of that. I have a flooded cellar now since they repaved the road. They've changed the grades. I'm draining about 4 or 5 house properties onto my property, and it's the value of my property.
Okay. 401. Yep.
Nancy Trousdale. I live at 394 Califf Hill Road, across from Tom Damon. And when they redid the road, yes, our property does drain some into there, but what we're finding also is that the front of our property, we call it Califf Hill Lake, because there's a huge amount of water that's there, and so that needs to be rectified as well.
Ben Urca from 75 Califf Hill Road. The picture on the left is about the end of my property. Before that, my driveway goes straight down. Everything that comes off the hill goes right to the property, right into the basement. So that's an issue too.
That water's coming off the road?
Coming off the road.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on 90 Califf Hill Road. That's my white house there. 90, right. And I believe that the work they did took care of some of that ice. We didn't have that ice view this year because it wasn't as cold either.
Cold, right.
But yeah. And I'm concerned about the town having to take over a drainage system that may not be up to snuff and have enough life left in it. For example, on the Range Road part of Caleb Hill Road, the road that goes across. That's kind of hilly, and there are a lot of pipes there that take a lot of water. And I think we want to be, if we do take it over, we want to be sure that we take over a road that's got good drainage and new piping. We don't want to have to replace pipes within 10 or 15 years. So
part of our engineering study that we're going to do is looking at drainage. We're going to be looking at the condition of the existing pipes and looking at the capacity. So making sure they're big enough.
Tim Pearson, 377 Caleb Hill Road. On the picture that you're looking at on the left on the large screen, that a little bit further there, the road slopes off to the right and there's a drop off. So if you drive this road in the wintertime, most people drive right down the center. They don't want to be on the right-hand side because if you get some ice, you're going to go right off and there's nothing to prevent you from rolling over. So it really needs, there's some areas that really need to have a guardrail along there, to prevent, from going off the road.
Did notice it was pretty steep in that area. Yep. Any other concerns about drainage?
Chuck Mitchell, 416 Caleb Hill Road. I'm at the very end. Clearly, the issues that seem to be the most important to many people here is drainage, not only at the top near where I am and over Mr. Damon and so forth, but also on that first sharp corner going around. That is the place that used to have the real deepest ruts, and the school buses had real trouble getting in through there. And then, of course, on this whole lower section, and I guess what I'm trying to imagine is that too many of the studies have been done, and they need to, if this is going to be properly done, please make sure that every study is done according to what is considered to be a 100-year storm. We have been having these anomalies, and if you don't, if the drainage isn't set for at least a 100-year storm, we're going to be looking at this no matter what happens.
Sure. Yes.
I was one of the bus drivers that had to drive on the opposite side of the road, coming in the opposite direction to avoid these very large granite rocks coming up out of the road around the corner, the S curve there. When DOT came to take them out, they really only did a Band-Aid. My concern around that corner is they just surfaced and took what was out. Over the years, the rest of it's going to all kind of come out because it was all granite underneath there. That's one of my main concerns on Caleb.
Yep. So we've heard about that, and that's why we hired the geotechnical firm. And I think they did holes every, 300 feet on average for the whole length of the road. We switched sides, trying to make sure we understood exactly where those areas were.
There is a spring.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yep.
springs up. Talking about Caleb Hill Springs now. So there's the spring, the spring that comes around. It's not Pest House, is it?
It's about 300 yards west of Range Road.
And in the middle of the road there's actually water that comes out. And then whenever we have frost heaves or whenever it freezes, it just like opens it up and opens it up even more. And that causes a real problem. But I don't know if that's drainage or just,
It is.
okay.
It is, yep. Okay. I was here for the Gassett hearing, so honestly, I expected a lot more comments on drainage by me. But the other thing we've noticed was obviously there's a couple sharp crest curves that limit how far you can see down the road. Expectation is that these are because there's rock underneath the road, and so when they built the road, they didn't want to drop it down. So correcting issues like this kind of have two things. One, they're going to cost some money to do, and two, they could lead to increased speeds. So I guess what I'd like to hear from you is, are these crest curves a safety concern? Versus, are you concerned more about if we flatten them that people might go even faster than they are right now?
Ben from Caleb Hill, 75. I happen to be, our property is right at the edge of one of these jumps. And I say jumps because it is. Peaks up, drops right down. If you flatten it, they're not going to take the jump as fast. So I'm looking at that
More
way
the
of
thrill
it.
seekers there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They will fly over those doing 45, 55 at times. Right. I've lost several chickens already. So, and that's the hump.
Kathy Mitchell, 416. I want to echo this because the traffic on this road is horrific as it is. People don't go 35. They don't go anywhere near 35. It's 50 to 60 on many mornings. And flattening it out is only going to make it worse. And we can live with driving a little slower and going up over the Slate Hill, but we can't live the way things are going right now with the traffic being so out of control. When the there was a group putting in some wires for Comcast, and they were terrified. They ended up parking in my driveway because they watched cars coming around the corner and coming the other direction at high rates of speed, not stopping at the stop sign, and they recognized how dangerous it was. So it's not just me.
Hi, Tom Damon, Caleb Hill Road again. One of the things we see where that truck is in the left picture on the left, that's where the late Mr. Tom Daniels lived. And I had a conversation with him before he passed away that they paved right over the dirt. There's no substrate under that asphalt. So that's where the water collects. And I think if you they drive too fast on the road. I think you take the hump out, we're going to have a lot of trouble. We're going to have a lot of accidents. One of my biggest concerns is that the turn in the road, they're just beyond that with where Pest House Road comes into the 90-degree turn with the drainage, with the ice forming. It really gets deep there, and I'm so concerned about a school bus not stopping, going straight across the street into a stone wall. That's my concern. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you.
Yeah, Sanders again at 90 Caleb Hill. It seems like when the cars leave the soldiers' home and they head up it seems like Route 3 or 93 because they fly. Not a lot, not all of them, but quite a few do. And they're flying by the time they get to my house because it's a nice straightaway. And yeah, if it gets smoother and smoother, we're going to have to put speed bumps in. So what's the point of rebuilding it if we're going to have speed bumps? But yeah, so that's a real problem. I don't know how you calm the speed down.
75 Caleb Hill. Again, I did see they have new speed bumps that actually go into the ground when you reach a certain speed. So if you're doing 35, there's no speed bump. You do 45, it drops down, and you get quite a nice shock. So
I haven't seen those yet. I'll have to look into
those are
that.
pretty cool.
Tim, do you have a comment?
Tim Pearson, 377. So the corner at coming down Caleb Hill Road, the corner with Range Road, that area there, if you're coming down and someone else is coming the other direction, invariably, every time I'm driving that road, a big truck is coming around the other way, and you've got this squeeze going on in this corner. Even if you're going very slowly, it can be really tight. And add to that any kind of weather. One of my neighbors missed the turn and hit that pole. There's a telephone pole dead ahead if you hit any kind of ice or anything. That happened to one of my neighbors, and from what I understand, there was also a fatality at that corner some years ago, many years ago. But that is it's just really, really tight there, and especially if anybody's traveling at any kind of speed coming either direction, they tend to cut that corner and makes it dangerous.
That was actually my next point that I wanted to talk about. So, interesting enough, our firm was hired by New Hampshire DOT 6 or 7 years ago to drive every road in the state, every curve, and see which curves needed curve signage. So we actually drove Calefville Road at speeds to determine what these curves are. So yeah, they're tight. Again, as part of this project, we could propose improvements. So two things with that. One, they're going to need to get flatter, so that's going to come with some costs and impacts to people's property, likely, if we were to do that. And again, could lead to some higher speeds on the road. So similar to the question I asked about the crest curves and that sight distance, is there a desire to look at flattening these curves, improving the geometry, so that they could maybe probably not remove the postings altogether, but at least get them closer to 30 miles per hour, say?
Chuck Mitchell, Caleb Hill Road. One of the things about flattening these, again, you're encouraging more speed. If we make the curves wider or whatever, the road itself has character, and anything, I think those curves, if anything, serve to slow traffic down, not to speed it up. It's inevitable. If you make this road flat and smooth, people are going to speed. What's the issue? It's not speed bumps, but maybe some law enforcement on the road too.
The ones that are shown here, where it's the one that goes into Pest House, and then also the bottom right-hand one where it goes into Range Road, those are the ones that I feel are probably the most dangerous. As you're coming around this one where Pest House is, you come around and then you also have a hill there, and you cannot see coming the other way. And the one here on Range Road, I mean, my back tire has caught, like Tim said, on that one, coming towards me like this way on it, because there's just not room for the school bus and the other car. And even if you're going 30 miles an hour or you're going, 25 miles an hour, you have to slow down and anticipate, oh, there's probably somebody coming the other way. But we're not, I mean, we all live there. We know to anticipate that. We're not, 16 years old with our new driver's license either. And that's what really worries me, is on these curves, that people who don't live there and don't anticipate it are the ones that are getting in trouble.
Any other thoughts on the curves? Okay.
Kathy Mitchell again. I'm looking at the pictures of 15, 20, and 25 miles. Nobody drives that speed on Caleb Hill.
So these are some of the potential things we're going to be looking at. So ditching is probably one of the bigger things that we'll be proposing is get the water off the road. Right now the road slope itself is pretty flat and it's rutted, so that's what's leading to water flowing down. So if we put a better crown on the road, we can help that. But once it gets to the grass, it needs somewhere to go. This is a picture of Sandoggerty Pond Road in Northfield. Actually a road that used to be New Hampshire DOT owned, and Northfield went through this same process to have it reclassified to town owned. And so these are the improvements the state made as part of that reclassification process. So you can drive over there if you want sometime and see kind of what it feels like, what the look is. I mean, if we do, I bring it up because this picture to me shows right now the vegetation on Caleb Hill Road is tight to the road in a lot of places. I think that can help with controlling speed. We go and do ditches and things like that and maybe knock down some trees so we can see a little bit farther. Sometimes that can have a reverse effect of feeling more open from a sight line. So that's something we'll be looking at. Again, I think to your point about 100-year storms, we're going to be looking at increasing the sizes of most of the culverts and drainage that are along the road, especially the ones that go perpendicular for the stream. Once we have the geotech information and the borings, we'll be seeing which portions of the roadway need that full reconstruction, identifying the areas where it looks like, yeah, they just paved over what was there versus are there other areas that the gravel's pretty good and maybe we can just do more of a reclaim project where we have a machine that just chews up the pavement to provide more strength and then we pave over, put new pavement on top of that. Certainly looking for those areas where there's high rock under the road and any boulders, because those are what's lead to the frost heaving and the conditions where the road won't just last. So we're aiming to produce a design that is going to last for the town. Select board has made that clear to us that they want to make sure that if they take the road over, they're not going to have any issues with the pavement falling apart or drainage issues in the foreseeable future. Depends. So there are pavement preservation treatments that extend the life of the road. So there's crack sealing. There's what's called fog seal, which is when they basically spray the road black again with more asphalt, keeps it flexible. And then, every 10 to 20 years, depending on traffic loading, you would put either another 1.5 inches of pavement on top or, mill out a little bit and pave it. I mean, with that type of cycle, you may not need to reconstruct a road again if you're just interstate. You see them do it every 7 or 8 years, just because of how valuable that asset is. The frequency, will depend on traffic, loading and how many trucks go up and down the road. So it's then to just keep an eye on it. If it starts to be rutting from wear, that's probably the time to start thinking about a mill and overlay. That helps. No road's going to last forever if you don't take care of it. Sir.
Hi, I've been in road construction, and one of the things that I learned is that there's when you reclaim the asphalt, you roll it down and you compact it, and there's a compaction ratio to get to 100% compaction, and between that and the base coat, there's a matrix that you can put down that helps prevent frost heaves. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we've used it on a few projects.
Okay. They used it on March Road a couple of years ago, and it has outstanding results. They did the same thing. Okay, thank you.
All right, any additional comments, things you want us to know as we get going on this project?
I know, I'm gonna stay on your side. Locked in.
Again, Nancy Trousdale, 394 Caleb Hill Road. So, like Tom Damon was saying about the drainage that comes through the culvert, like pretty much straight across into the front of his property. Is that something that is included in this type of project where the drainage from the road along his property or like between the property lines and out to the crest of the hill and down type thing? Is that something that's included? Because if it is impacting, if the road drainage or lack thereof is impacting his property, then would that be included in this?
Yes. So, we're tasked with making sure drainage within the right of way works. But it's not like we're going to stop and say, okay, the water has left the right of way, have fun with it. I mean, we're going to make sure it gets safely to some stream, wetland, off down the hill. Could that mean, pipes or swales in private property? It could. If we're trying to direct it around somebody's house as part of the project, it's something we can explore. Obviously, if the town is working outside their right of way, they're going to need easements and permission to do that. But yeah, I would say that's something we're definitely going to look into.
This is a comment directed more at the select board than at you, but I want you to be aware anyway that Florida Power and Light has leases on property on Caleb Hill, and their intent is to build a 19.9 gigawatt solar farm. And so I want the select board to be aware that this is still in the works. They signed a contract with Connecticut to send power to them, and they've been paying people on Caleb Hill for the lease of their land for the last 5 years. And that would be a disaster for this new road. So I think the select board needs to remind them of that.
Yeah, and part of that is that if this construction, which I believe is still planned for the solar farm, is going to happen within the next year or two, I would certainly hope that that project would be done before, with all the heavy equipment that they might need, because they have leased 300 acres and are going to build the solar panels on over 100 acres. They're going to have to go in and clear it with all that heavy equipment and all that. The other thing, you were talking about the longevity of roads. It's nice to think about all these nice things, and we've seen where they've gone in and sprayed the roads. However, that is a problem, however, that to increase the longevity of this road, once the town owns it, that the town will have to be responsible for. And right now, for those who've been living in town for a few years that have traveled School Street during frost heave time, the state has done zero treatment of that road for frost heaves as far as treating the cracks and seams in the road. So it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to do it.
Yes, my name is Dennis Manning. I'm on 56 Caleb Hill Road. The only thing that I would leave you with, I mean, we've talked about drainage. I live on the first quarter mile stretch from Clark Road. Obviously, the ditching needs to happen there. You can't fix the speed or flatten the road out where I live. When I look left in the morning, I can look left 15 times and someone's coming up over that knoll probably 50, 60 miles an hour. So it's treacherous for me. I don't know how you would flatten that. I really don't know how you're going to flatten the curves on Pest or Range Road, really. I mean, without some heavy duty engineering. And my fear with that is not to over engineer this so that it's not feasible for the town to take that on. I mean, nobody can argue the drainage needs to be fixed, the road needs to be fixed. So minimal engineering beyond that would increase the cost where they don't want to do it. The select board, I'm saying I'd like not to see that happen. Thank you.
Tim Pearson, 377. Dennis just reminded me about that one line of sight issue in that first section of Caliph Hill off of Clark Road. There is a driveway that comes out right at the crest of one of those hills, whereas you're approaching, you can't see past to see what's coming towards you. So that's a particularly bad area. If you're going to lower anything and increase the line of sight, I would say that would be at least a little bit so that you could see what's approaching would be very useful and a real safety improvement.
Yeah, Sanders again, 90 Caleb Hill Road. Curious, what is the right of way?
I don't know yet, so I would hire a surveyor.
If the right of way is where some of the stone walls are, we're not going to have to get a lot of easements.
Yeah, I'm anticipating a fair amount of easements needed
Yeah.
For this project. I mean, the ditch itself we'd aim to keep that in the town's right of way so they could maintain it moving in the future, but kind of back slope of it is likely going to extend onto most, if not all of the property. So it's going to take kind of everybody to get on board with what we come up with, and because nobody wants to take anything here. We want to find something that is a solution that everybody can be agreeable, that it's worth the cost and worth the impacts and movement to the road.
Because if somebody has a stone wall in front of their place and you got to do some work there, they'd probably want the stone wall rebuilt.
Yeah, I think testing my right-of-way knowledge, but I'm pretty sure if a stone wall is at the right-of-way line, we have to put it back on the right-of-way line.
Yeah.
That's part of the law. Okay, so just to summarize a little bit about the schedule, I think to answer one of the concerns about maybe the interaction with the solar farm construction. So we're expecting to get our survey back towards the end of spring. That'll allow us to do some alternatives development. From what I'm hearing today, I think we're going to explore some improvements to the curves and crests just so people can see. Obviously, we're not going to go crazy because trying to balance that with making the road too fast. So we'll be developing those over the summer with the goal of coming back to a meeting very similar to this in September timeframe. We would show people. We'd have some preliminary plans by that point. We'll have a good handle on what certain elements of the project will cost. Based on feedback we return at that, we'll show you something. If you hate it, it goes out. If you like it, we'll include it in the project and we'll come up and combine something into a preferred alternative through the fall. And then we'll be working with the select board and New Hampshire DOT through the winter to have something, I think, presentable at town meeting in 2025 would be the goal right now. So pending that decision, if the town decides to move forward, we would then complete the preliminary and final design, get permits, summer, fall, early winter of 2025. So summer of 2026 is, I think, the earliest you would see construction happening. If there are certain points along the way that require a little bit more time to make a decision, then the schedule could get delayed a little bit. So that's all I had for presentation. Kevin or Nancy, did you want to say anything?
Town of Tilton, that just goes in line with all the other municipalities that I work with throughout District 3. I want to say thank you very much for your input tonight. As Brian said, it's really important that everyone has a say and feels like they're being listened to, that they are contributing, and that it's not going to waste. obviously I'm a note taker. I have been my entire career. I relish the opportunity to come out and talk with people. And if you see my car, I'm plate H113. If I'm out and about and if I'm in your in your area, please don't feel the come and approach me. Have a conversation with me. Let me know if there's things going on because obviously summer maintenance is my responsibility. And I'd want to be able to have an opportunity to work with you folks because this is an excellent opportunity to improve this project, or excuse me, this roadway. $3 million, as you know, doesn't go very far. And I know McFarland Johnson is an excellent firm and you are in very good hands with getting alternatives that will fit within that budget and that will actually improve the roadway. And in time, if it does work its way through, having the select board and the town vote to have it under class 5 so that you can have that and maintain it in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to add. Great job. Yeah, I reiterate everything everybody said. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a question on the design as it goes forward. I noticed on the flow chart you showed to begin with that the preliminary design, and then there'd be a decision point made.
So we would make a decision about whether or not to do this project after the engineering study is completed.
I see, and that would not be final design then.
No, we
So-
would have, we'd have a real good handle on concepts, real good handle on the cost estimate. We'd have some plans, but nothing to the detail that somebody could go out and build something with. But certainly detailed enough where we can all make an informed decision about if we want to move the project forward or not.
Yeah, so if you want to move the project forward, and so you get into final design, and then it goes out to bid, and you have 3 bidders, and they're way up in the air. What is the town committed to come up with the balance?
So that's part of, I think, the discussion we'll have with DOT at the end of the engineering study. Depending on how close we are to that $3 million range, we'll be talking about that scenario. What happens if the bids come in high? Exactly. I'm sure that will be important for the town to understand.
Ben from 75 Caliph Hill again. Picture on the left bottom shows the jump and our driveway right at the bottom of the jump. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, and how quick they come over that corner and trying to back out is pretty dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Turn the meeting back over to the select board. Hey, how are you? I'm good. Okay. Nice to meet you. How you doing? All right. All right. Yeah. Well, how are you? How are you, dear? Good to see you. Good. I haven't seen you in a long time. Good, good. Yeah, pretty good. Stop by for a cup of coffee. Somebody's gonna get killed. You guys are going into private now again? All right, good luck. Well, I'll tell you. You know what? Night. He doesn't use a lot.
Okay, board. No, in there. We can just make a motion to go into non-public and take off.
They do. They like the people across the street.
Very good.
I'm ready. You like the Irish place or you like both? Yes. Oh, there. Wednesday. Sicilians? Oh my word. I go Wednesday night. Day night. Like I really don't prefer it. She knows how much I love it. Maybe a little bit. But I'm part of the boat. Hello. Oh, there we go. Hey.
So I was just being nosy. Yeah. Across from Union. Oh, across from Union, next to the parking. Yeah, I think because I didn't know if it had sold or if you guys use it. 3 or 4 times I go up and I look at It was fun. Free pool. That's all you can ask for. No. Bye.
it is. You can't catch them all. Thank you. It's nice to be all work together. I won that race. Yeah. What's on? Right there on the right.
Oh.
Is it a split level? It's floating.
Sorry, that's right. I think Amy wrote on the thing that said there's a lot of paper. No? Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Michelle there. It's manager. Yeah. You've got 3 in there, 4 in here. Right? I'm going to take it back because I've got to get some of these things with a note on. Yeah. Yeah.
You've been good for.
Board, make a motion to go into non-public.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to go into non-public per RSA 91A:2B, hiring of personnel. Roll call vote.
Jessamine, yes.
Ruggles, yes.
Constantino, yes. Okay, we will reconvene in the other room.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we are back. Oh no, we're still missing one. Okay, make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public.
Second.
All those, discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, not yet, Joe. We have one other under new business, Catherine.
I make a motion to subrogate our authority to the chairman of the board of the Tilton Selectmen to sign this New Hampshire Liquor Commission application for the Tamworth Distilling to sell alcohol at the farmer's market.
Just an application for the farmer's
At the
market.
farmer's market
They're
that's
gonna
going to be at
sell alcohol.
132.
It's gonna be right out here.
They want to sell alcohol and the commission,
Around here?
No,
Not-
it's distilling.
Not open. It's
they're not going to sell beer. They're going to, oh, I'm sorry. They're going to sell closed containers of alcohol.
Yeah.
Make some beer and.
They wanted to do sampling and the park
Spirits.
commissioners said no. So this is just so they can sell closed containers of alcohol to customers.
Aye.
Yes, I'm good with it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Oh, I'm the chair, so I'm so tired. Sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you, Catherine.
Welcome.
All right, this is signed.
You've got your binder, yeah. I'll go.
I do plan on going through it.
Oh, if you think that, the fact.
I was sitting back there. I wrote some stuff.
I know you were.
I did. We have a board in there that we do, but we're up.
Can I take those?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Lovely.
Okay, we have to
Thank you.
finish
Boy,
this.
sorry, I gave you all that.
Okay,
The magic
My
words
turn
have
now?
not been spoken.
my turn.
Always.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, now you can turn it.